I'm Jay Glazer. This is the side you don't see. I think the biggest thing I've ever overcome, it's a two-part question because one is physical, one is mental. I guess it both leads into the mental part. Physical part, I was about 11 years ago, was the day NFL free agency began. I went in for a cleanup of my back from wrestling and fighting all these fighters and football players, and I had re-ruptured L4, L5. I just went in for a basic little cleanup. At the start of the procedure, I threw up the meal from the night before and stomach acid and bile and drowned in it. And I ended up uh, having double aspiration, both my lungs aspirated. Ended up in critical care at Cedars-Sinai for a week, an oxygen tank for a month. I was the worst case of double aspiration pneumonia to ever survive at Cedars-Sinai. And when I got brought in, it was funny because my emergency contact was Randy Couture, my training partner. In the past, I've actually cleaned my back up, and he and I have gotten trained. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so great. And, still got a little propofol in me. So Randy and I are a little screwed up. Um, I woke up on his gurney at Cedars, and I'm like, he's standing over me. I'm like, well, if I'm dead, I ain't in heaven because he wouldn't be here. And we are kind of joking around about it. And then all of a sudden, my oxygen starts dropping more and more. And I have my phone because free agency began, and the nurses are trying to tell Mr. Couture, please, get your friend, Mr. Glazer, got to put his phone down. This is really, really, really serious. He doesn't understand. It's a matter of life and death. And I didn't really understand what was going on. And what happened was that in the procedure, they didn't put me in a hollow face cradle. They put me in a bowl for some reason. So I threw all this up, and my lungs, 73% of my lungs were burnt, filled up with stomach acid and bile and all that. And the anesthesiologist unfortunately walked away, and they heard me convulsing. And actually, my voice is so raspy. My voice wasn't like this. They shoved the tube down to revive me, and they clipped my vocal cord. So while I'm in there, man, the beeps are getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And I'm on my phone trying to help people with free agency. And Randy's like, hey, Cowboy, I think you got to kind of sit this one out. I'm like, Randy, I don't get it. I'm saying double pneumonia. Like, I don't have pneumonia. I'm not sick. I didn't understand what it was. And all of a sudden, man, the whole room went over there. And probably felt like it was about 10 feet away. Like the room went over there. And I said, oh, and my oxygen had dropped to like 60. And I said, like 60s and 70s was that. And you need your oxygen to be, over, 98 to 100 is normal. And put my phone down, and I started having a talk with God. And I said, God, I think I'm coming to see you. And if I am, it's okay. I love you. But I think there's more I could do here in this world. And if there is, if you step in here, I promise you, I will do a lot more for this world. And a lot of people make that same promise and they don't follow through. Well, all of a sudden that happened, and my oxygen went from 60 or 70 to boom, 89. And I think about what was it later? About 2, 3 months later, I opened my gym Unbreakable with the use of an oxygen tank. Once the players started coming back in for me to train in MMA, I stopped with the oxygen tank, and I just moved forward, never looked back. And I called the gym Unbreakable. I called my podcast Unbreakable, my book Unbreakable, because that was that moment that could have broken me or shouldn't and didn't. And as a result, I came through the other side of that tunnel stronger forever. And all the work I've now done with mental health, done a lot of work with veterans, done a lot of work, suicide prevention, all that was my way of keeping my promise to God that I made that day.
Wow.
And
You've done
not a lot of people know that story.
That's incredible.
And then the players would come in, they'd be like, wait, what? You are an oxygen tank Tuesday? Like, yep. Shut the up. Let's keep training. Let's go. Oh, we ain't talking about it. Let's go. But also, you can control a lot here.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's, I tell, even the way we train guys, like if we're hurt and tired, you'll never, ever, 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 ever know. And, it's like I tell our guys, man, you can control it. If you sit there, puff and puff, and you put your hands on your hips, you're going to get exhausted. My fighters can't take a stool in between rounds. Your body doesn't know if you're taking a break for a minute or you're done for the day.
Yeah.
So we don't do that, right? And you control, like, tell these guys, you're playing tag when you're a kid and you're exhausted, and all of a sudden your friend, your brother comes up and they twang you, and all of a sudden you jump up and run after them.
Yep.
You forget you're tired, right? So you control it. So I learned how to, try and control it here.
Wow. Your advocacy for mental health, I
Yeah.
really love. I love all that you post. As someone on TV, I've had panic attacks on the air.
Yeah.
I struggle with that.
Every week.
Yeah. How do you overcome that? I mean, you said you feel that on air. You do get panic attacks on TV?
So my first ever, and so I told you there's the physical, thing I
Yeah.
went through. The things I've overcome also, and I still do. I have clinical depression, anxiety, ADHD, bipolar, and last year I was diagnosed with something called OCD anxiety, which now that I've done more research on it, I think that was really the thing that's plagued me the most, with the depression and the ADHD since my earliest childhood memory. In my first anxiety attack, though, and that's the scariest one, was an empty Raider Stadium in 2005. I was doing a hit for Fox NFL Sunday. There's nobody in there but me and a cameraman. That was it. And all of a sudden, man, my heart starts beating, my hands start shaking, my eyes start going back and forth. I start sweating like crazy. I thought I was having a heart attack. And for 12 years, I was getting my heart checked out for a heart attack because it became habitual for whatever reason. Happened every single week, whether I did live or tape, even when I'm doing ballers, which is obviously scripted. Usually the first take, or it could be the fourth take, sometime, whatever. Boom, it happens. And it's odd that it did. It just became habitual. So every time that happens, I would tell myself, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. And I always push out a laugh, because I call my stuff the gray. The gray hates laughter. And whenever I, laugh, it kind of goes away. But now, because I open up and talk about it, and talking about it, by the way, it was Terry Bradshaw. We were in our green room. We called it the avocado room. And he was describing his anxiety attacks 12 years after my first one. And he was describing it exactly the same. I'm like, wait, what did you say? And he's like, oh, yeah, man, your hands shake. You start sweating. Your eyes go like this. You feel like you're having a heart attack. I'm like, oh, my God, that's what I have. So Terry Bradshaw is the one who diagnosed me with an anxiety disorder. And these doctors missed it for all those years. But that's the whole thing. I want to make sure that we talk. So I look, I'm not a doctor, teacher, clergy, anything like that. I'm just a dude who's messed up, who's learning how to be good with his messed upness. But God blessed me with the ability to communicate. So I want to give it words. So I describe it so I can give other people that aha moment that I had with TB. So now I know I'm safe, but also because I talk about it, if I'm struggling, which happens often, I will even make eye contact, say something to Kurt Menefee or Howie Long, and they'll go, "You okay?" And I'll go, "I'm better now." Like just to be able to say something to somebody. This battle buddy system we've created helps me so much. It incredible what it does for me. But the depression, it's something I wake up with every day. When it's really horrible, I call two people to tell them I'm struggling, and they're the busiest people in the world. And my depression, anxiety, which I always thought was a curse, now I realize is a blessing, because A, I'm able to be of service to the world, but B, it's turned friendships into brotherhoods. Like I never would have known that people would be there for me like this. Like I always felt worthless. That's what your depression tells you. You're a piece of garbage. You're not worth it. And all these people are just there no matter what. And when I say people, like the busiest dudes in the world, the most badass people, The Rock, Sylvester Stallone, Sean McVay, Michael Phelps, like, the baddest of the bad. And I'm not saying this to be a name dropper, it's just who my crew is, because they go through it. They do the same with me. And now we're very, very open about it. So I said it's turned our friendships into brotherhoods. But the other thing I do also, not only do I call two people, tell them I'm struggling, then I call two other people just to check up on them. And the things that really help me are having teams and being of service. So leaning into my teammates is telling them I'm struggling, but calling my other cats, and it could be that whoever it is, just two random people, whatever it is, random names, not random people, but random names, just pick them out of my phone just to check up on them is my way of being of service, staying connected with my team. And 90% of the time, somebody will say, I'm good, Glaze, I'm good. 10% though, they'll say, man, it's funny you called today. And I needed this call.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you forget what's ailing you because you're of service to them. And one of those times, and I'm not going to say who it is, a really big superstar, a rock star of a human being. This dude is the ultimate fighter. Told me about 2 weeks later. Remember that time you called me that day? You saved my life that day because I was planning to kill myself.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
So again, I think, the world, and you don't need my level of clinical gray to be going through something. Social media makes us all think our lives suck. We're comparing ourselves to everybody else's filtered highlight, fraction of a second of one day. We feel left out. Or on X, we're getting our asses kicked 100 times, 1,000 times a minute. And it's just so much hate and pain out there. Hurt people hurt people. Everybody's looking to hurt each other these days. So we're all going through something, and again, this is all, even doing this is my way of keeping my promise to God in that hospital. That I'm going to do more for, any way I can to be better for you, God, for this world.
That's incredible. I did this series because I realize I want people to see people on TV. People are going to see yourself and then resonate. Wow, he can do that. He can succeed and still go through exactly what I have.
First time I ever came out, because I wrote this book, Unbreakable, about my mental health, and it's somewhat of a bio, but I didn't want to just do a bio. I wanted to be of service. Again, keep my promise to God. And I went to social media to say, all right, again, here, and it was like 7 months before the book came out, and the publishing house wasn't happy about it. It was going to hurt sales, but I'm like, I knew it was on the page of the book by me describing what all these are, so that people can go, oh man, somebody gets me. Oh, that's what I have. But if you don't have the words, how are we supposed to have the conversation? That's all I was trying to do, is give people words. And man, I go to social media and I'm like, hey, here's the deal, gang. I'm the laughy, jokey guy on Fox NFL Sunday and Ballers, and you see me, but that's a mask. Here's the truth of who I am. And I got depression, anxiety, ADHD, bipolar. Man, one thing I could do is build fight teams. And I'm looking to build one big badass team here together. So if you have the same thing, or you understand what I'm saying, or you know someone, anything, write a comment below and we'll walk this walk together. I got you. I pressed send and I was horrified. Because, on social media, you just get killed. You can say you could cure cancer. They'll go, oh, way to brag, Glazer. Or,
Right.
Oh, hey, well, thank you. It was too late. They'll just crush you. They'll murder you for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Press send. And within 90 seconds, Mercedes Lewis, 6'7.5", 265 pounds, played 19 years in the NFL right now, looking for his 20th. I started training Mercedes in mixed martial arts in, I think, year 4, year 3, 4. Known each other forever. Thought he knew me. Hits me up, says, Coach, just saw your post. I knew you were crazy, and that's a badge of honor in football and fighting. But I didn't know you were in pain. I'm sorry. I got you. And that dude has hit me up every week in my life since to make sure I'm good. That's what this does for you people. No one's going to ostracize you. No one's going to push you away. But also, if someone does, they're not ready for it. No offense to them. They're just not ready for it yet. It's not vulnerable yet. And you then know who your crew is and who it's not. Right? Doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Right. 100%.
But when I say it turns friends into brothers, that's a brother.
Yeah. The two people that you said you'd call, are they friends, family?
No, I got thousands of contacts. It just could be whoever comes to mind that day. But I have a support system of all these guys. So we were on a text chain yesterday, and the Athletic and New York Times just wrote this thing. Michael Phelps and I started this like battle buddy system. And Phelps struggles, his gray is just as dark as mine. He's open about it. And we did a Subway commercial years together. We were friends, but now we're brothers. Like, oh my God, his wife has my number. He has my wife's number. Because when we get bad, and this is This is not something I'm through. Like it happens every day. I woke up with horrible anxiety this morning about something. With like that little kid in me, who's a scared little kid, will come out and have this big voice where he thinks the sky's falling. And as often as I try and comfort him, I'm still going through it. But Phelps and I we started this group, this battle buddy group now. It's me, him, The Rock, Sean McVay, Mark Kerr, who's the Smash Machine, Andrew Whitworth, and Dan Quinn. And we were trying to pump up Mark and Dwayne because their box office wasn't this huge Disney box office thing the other day. And we knew Mark was in the tank. So every one of us chimed in to lift him and help him up. And we got on the phone with him. And same with Dwayne. Dwayne was sending us mail. We're getting like, who else could he turn to like this, right? So, but you're asking who I turn to. These just happen to be my crew, but it's not just them. I have I started fighting a long time ago, and I'm still really close with my old fight team members. I still train with Chuck Liddell a couple times a week. The guy named Jay Haran comes stay with me all the time. Mark Kerr all the time. There's a bunch of guys in Arizona. It's kind of like I lean into those guys a lot, but Howie, Straight, Terry, and I, in person a lot when we're struggling. Bradshaw will say, "Hey, man, I don't want to talk about it. I just need to tell someone who gets it." He did this on Christmas. We were at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, all of us watching the game. And he just came over and said, "Bradshaw, I don't really want to get in conversation, talk about it. Just need to tell someone who understands. I'm really hurting today." And that was one of the most surreal, incredible moments of my life, that Terry Bradshaw, who I grew up like, wow, turns to me for help when he's hurting. That was, again, the brotherhood that people, they're not going to push you away. This is what happens when you start opening up. You start becoming vulnerable. This is the group I'm telling, but there's 50 other people I will text, and again, 2 that I'll tell them struggle, and 2 I'm just checking up on. And it could be somebody I haven't talked to for a while that I'm checking up on.
Last question, you're just advice.
I told you, A, tell yourself you're safe. Okay, that's number 1. You're good. You're safe. B, try and get yourself to laugh about something. Okay, just laugh. Even if you go over and you say something that's funny to someone else right before it, good. Breathe, like learn breath work. So I've learned breath work now to get myself through it. All right. And again, the biggest thing I can tell you is just tell someone. Even if you call someone, "Hey man, I'm going on, I'm having a panic attack." Or if you tell someone they're having a panic attack, I just want to let you guys know, because I've been told, Jay Glazer taught me to tell someone right now, and to get me to feel safer. There's power in numbers. It can't hurt you. The Super Bowl years ago, there was about a half hour, an hour of the show. I don't even remember. It was the worst panic attack I ever had in my life. And it went on, and I was on the football field doing a replay of the Immaculate Reception with Franco Harris and Terry and Howie, and I don't remember any of it. You know what got me back to what's going on? We got in a car to go to our second set, me, Kurt, and Jimmy, and I started laughing in the car, and then I snapped out.
Yeah.
So laughter is what would help me. You're not going to die from it. Like, once you know that, you're good. Again, I went 12 years of thinking I was going to die. That's horrible. And I never did, and now I'm good. I'm safe.